What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about SoFi. Despite being red right now, I do want to talk on the bullish signals that's happening behind the scenes that I want to explain to you, especially right before our Q2 earnings, which in reality should be a home run earnings. I'm going to break that all down for you. But before I get into any of that, making sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. With that, let's get right to it. Live ticker is going at the very bottom, currently down 2.7%, 18.8 million for volume. 46.7 is the average, and that is a 6-month average, and 3.1 million shares being purchased by institutions on the secondary market. So keep that in mind because that is pretty substantial as far as institutional purchasing. But getting right to it though, there is a lot of things, like I said, happening behind the scenes. One of which is with short interest. So generally speaking, the short interest over the last little bit has gone down substantially. Today is pretty flat, so you can see them adding only about 74,000 shares, which in reality is pennies. But generally speaking, we have gone down from around 25% to 18.27% for short interest. So I think the likelihood of us squeezing has gone down a little bit because, like I said, shorts have closed out a substantial amount of their positions. Still, there's 133 million shares being shorted, but overall though, I think the likelihood of a squeeze happening is starting to diminish a little bit. But that aside though, that could be seen as a very bullish sign. They do not see it worthwhile or worth the risk to short SoFi at these levels, especially leading into their earnings, which overall, given the circumstances, are all going to be home run. I have already done a video on this where I go through earnings per share, revenue, estimates on everything that you need to know, and everything right now is pointing to exceedingly amazing numbers. So again, my own 2 cents. I'm not a financial advisor, so do your own due diligence at the end of the day. And one thing as well, since I do have this up, cost to borrow average is 2.12, which generally speaking has gone down. The max is 3.54. And once again, you get to see manipulation at its finest. Cost to borrow minimum is showing negative 0.2%, insinuating that there is a broker out there physically paying people to short SoFi. A little bit more backwards thinking still going on with SoFi, but at the end of the day, shorts are going to lose a lot of money. And when it comes to SoFi, because I personally feel they should be at $10 easily. And one good comparison that I always like to look at is this. So the latest round of 13Fs as well, which as of right now is also a nice bullish trend starting to form, although all of this technically is from Q2, so it's a little bit more outdated per se. This is why I like to go through the secondary market and also other things I'm going to touch on, showing up-to-date information. But still, seeing a lot of institutions physically adding is a very big sign, a very bullish trend, and a lot of retail investors like to look at this and make analysis and purchases based on this information. So it is a very good thing, and right now all the big players are technically not even incorporated in this. This is all relatively small fish. All the big ones are in the first 2 weeks of August, so keep that in mind. That might be another coinciding catalyst at the same time as our earnings, so just watch for that as well. But like I said, when it comes to it, this is all the breakdown for SoFi. So as of right now, based on options activity, 65% of all the activity today has been through calls, which works out to be $1.29 million worth of premium for calls alone. So that's a very big thing. And when it comes down to it, I just want to go over some dark flow. So what's happening behind the scenes for SoFi more specifically, and a lot of big money has been getting in. So more recently as well, just a couple minutes ago, $1.32 million as a actual order, and this is physical shares. And keep in mind, this is from the dark pool, which is an exchange designated for institutions to trade amongst each other. So like I said at the very beginning, at the very bottom of the screen, that block volume column, that is on the secondary market. Secondary market is basically what you and I exchange and trade on. So all of this we don't necessarily have access to, but this is all the institutional purchasing that has been being done today alone. So a lot of money has been continuously getting in. Like I said, all bullish signs, all insinuating a nice massive upward trend is about to start to form, and especially, like I said, on the eve of their Q2 earnings. So that's a very big sign. Let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below as well. Over and above all of that is the technicals. Technicals have gone very much overbought, so I just want to show you this. Stochastic, like I've been saying in previous videos, we were a little bit more due. I think not necessarily just SoFi, but the broader market was overdue for a little bit more of a pullback, because stochastic technically at roughly about, it looks like 90s, is very, very hot. It kind of needed to cool off a little bit, and right now we're at 44. So we've cooled off, pulled back a little bit, nice consolidation. We are ready for a nice upward momentum going on once again. So RSI is currently at 49, so fairly neutral. Stochastic is looking very optimistic. Momentum, number of buyers have been going down a little bit, but it is still above zero, so showing that we are still getting new buyers getting in. That's a very positive sign. And on the actual chart, we're kind of wedged between that 50-day moving average and the central Bollinger Band. We're waiting for a good catalyst to either push us up or down, depending on what comes from it. Personally, I feel with the upcoming earnings, we might trade kind of flat until our earnings, and then we should kind of spike over. My own 2 cents, like I said. But I personally feel that there is so much upside. The risk versus reward is definitely there for SoFi, especially at these prices. $6 is a massive deal, if you ask me. Especially, like I said, we should be easily at 10, if not higher. And I know I technically did already cover this, but I always like to point this out. Just look at some of the averages, what some of these institutions have. Yes, they have $6.85, $8, $16.99, $15. So keep in mind, a lot of these institutions found significant value in SoFi at a lot of these prices. So that's just how I see things as well. So if someone was willing to actually put down 286,000 shares at $11.88, then imagine what is actually happening at these prices. This is why I always do look at the dark pool and what is happening behind the scenes from the institutional stances. But let me know your thoughts on all that in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. And if you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on SoFi.